any use of force that we employ being deemed both reasonable and necessary under the conditions where we couldn't avoid, we couldn't escape, and we could not de-escalate. It was a case of, I'm going to get fucked up unless I do something. Do you understand? Unfortunately, there's a couple of things that you need to know that go along with that. So, first of all, bear in mind the weapon laws in the UK. So we have long since been deprived of the law that's equivalent to the US's Second Amendment. We have been disarmed long time ago as citizens. So our God-given right to bear arms in order to arm and protect ourselves and our loved ones from those who do arm with intention of causing us harm has long since been removed. So 97 they removed the firearms things after Don Blaine, but many years before that there was laws on anything you could carry. You cannot carry anything at all, right? Legally, if you want to stay a law-abiding citizen. So the very thing that makes you think you're a good citizen is the very thing that makes you vulnerable as a victim. And the reason for that is because this law does not apply to criminals, it does not apply to terrorist groups, it does not apply to anyone that doesn't give a fuck about the law. So criminals arm regardless. Look at the amount of stabbings that we're having, even shootings now. So criminals arm. So there's a disproportional armament. Do you understand? So about 3 years before this ridiculous situation started to cultivate, I developed a second facet of UC, which is what we're going to practice today. And that is geared around becoming more of a tier 1 level civilian. So a tier 1, in the analogy of the military, is the best that you could feasibly be. So if you look at military groups, and then you look at spec ops, and then you look at team spec ops, the cream of the crop, these are tier 1 level operatives, which means they are best that they could possibly be. Now take that analogy and apply it to a civilian combative trainee that has a family to protect, right? How could you develop your skill sets, and what would you need to learn in order to become the best combative trainee that you could be? Well, I put it to you that no method of unarmed combatives is going to give you enough of a high probability chance of success against the modern threat. I very much do not doubt, I doubt there is any unarmed level of skill out there that could allow you to plausibly deal with 5 people breaking in your home all armed. It's just infeasible, and particularly for an elder person, a woman, or a younger person, somebody that has not been through the life of hard knocks and fucking doesn't, has the mindset. Even somebody like me, you've got your fucking work cut out, and I think you could, high probability that you'll die fighting. So unarmed skills by themselves are not enough. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to reassess the way we train our unarmed skills, and we need to push them more towards a military grade. So you need to learn how to, unarmed, use a level 10 use of force. Level 10 is up to and including deadly force. You need to know how to end somebody with the tools that God give you, because there's a high probability in the lifetime that we have left that you will meet violence in the extreme. If you are unarmed, you are at a disadvantage, but the first thing you should learn is military grade unarmed skills. And when we start with the unarmed skills, they're going to be much more brutal than they would for dealing with the average pub fight. Does that make sense? But understand, context dictates content, with and without weapons. But it has context. It has context within the situation of what we've been talking about and what we've got the likelihood to face in the future. So tier 1 skills include unarmed, proficiency with any point and edge weapon, proficiency with any type of blunt force trauma weapon. Where feasible, where you have opportunity and where legality allows, you should learn how to shoot firearms. If you shoot firearms abroad like I do, used to anyway, on a consistent level, and you can be damn sure that I'm dry firing or airsoft practicing with an exact replica of the gun I would employ here. So, firearms, stick or impact weapons, bladed weapons. as well as unarmed skills. That's the combative part. Other skills that you need to learn is tactical emergency casualty care. You need to know how to deal with massive blood trauma. If you find yourself in a situation where there's been a shooting, a stabbing, an explosion, something like this. If you find yourself amongst a situation where there's an active threat or an active shooter, you need to know, the concept of run, fight, run. You want to get away as quick as you can, of course you do, but there's an array of skills that would give you an advantage. Tactical casualty care being one of them. Another might be offensive, defensive driving. Do an advanced driving course, learn how to get out of dodge if you've fucking got a problem. Others might be if you travel a lot, or you're prone to going to third world countries where there's a plausibility of you being taken or kidnapped. You might learn methods of dealing with unlawful counter custody, so know how to pick zip ties, know how to break tape, know how to pick handcuffs, etc, etc. All of these skills accumulate. Another one might be in a rural area, bushcraft. Could you survive in the forest for 3 or 4 days? What if the fucking grid went down and there was no power in an urban environment? Would you know how to forage for food, water, shelter? Do you understand where I'm going with this? An array of skills that make you as a civilian a capable citizen. So if anything happened in an immediate situation, you had the ability to protect you, your family, and potentially anyone that's around you. Because what you are is your own personal and your family's personal security detail. That's what you are. Their safety in a fucking unruly, unsafe world is on you. So you want to get as skilled as you can. So with that idea, I developed Tier 1 civilian training. Are we clear? And that is what we'll be doing today. So for those of you that are just seeing my work for the first time, don't take this as the what we do in the majority. It's evolved because the environment and the threat has evolved. If you want to learn just unarmed skills, I'm your man. If you want to go beyond that, then we would be looking at a Tier 1 sort of training. Is that clear with everyone? Right, so without further ado, we are going to start. So, like I said, skill sets for Tier 1 would be level 10 unarmed skills, point and edge tools, blunt force trauma weapons, any improvised tool, use of the environment, as well as firearm competency. Tactical emergency casualty care, offensive defensive driving. How also, which I'm going to show you today, how to bind a hostile subject. So if you found yourself in a situation where it could be a destroy or detain, you either need to destroy the threat because it's a threat to everyone in the vicinity, or you need to subdue and control the threat, which would mean you need to detain them. In which case, how can you restrain somebody with improvised restraint, such as a bell, cordage, wire flex? There's another facet that if you do become more interested in becoming a Tier 1 civilian, you need certain tools, certain kit. Primary thing you have when you get up in the morning, out of the shower, start bollock naked. So you're familiar with this term EDC, everyday carry. It's become a bit of a geek squad thing. But basically, somebody who's a capable citizen has everyday carry kit that they keep on them, depending on where they live in the world. Will include weapons, but legality as an issue. First EDC that you have, or everyday carry, is your mindset. You must cultivate the willingness to do whatever you need to do to prevail. Because without mindset, it's dead in the water. You've got to get your head right. Next would be your skill set. So if I've cultivated good physical skills like I've talked about, I'm a capable individual, wouldn't you say? Third area of my EDC, which is with me all the time, is my general physical preparedness, or what you call GPP. I need good cardio fitness to run. I need to be able to sprint. I need to be strong. I need to be explosive. If I was in a burning building, could I pick up that fucking table and throw it through the window so I could escape? Could I help someone down, throw a kid up onto a higher elevation, climb up and get up there myself? Could I sprint, run, fight, engage 2 people, grab somebody and get to a place of safety? You need to be fit to do that shit. Does that make sense? So the first part of your EDC begins with mindset, skill set, and your general physical preparedness. That's you, that's on you. From there, you have a personal carry, so the clothes you wear. Do the clothes protect you from the elements? Do your shoes allow, your boots allow you to fight or run if you had to? Slip on shoes, slip off. What other tools do you have on you that you could improvise as a weapon quickly? Do you have comms so you can communicate with somebody? Do you have means, money or credit cards so that you could get yourself out of Dodge if you needed to? Do you understand where I'm going with this? So kit would be an element of that. If you travel or you move around to different places, that might include a backpack of some kind. And in your backpack you should have a medical kit, a tourniquet and pressure bandages so that you could deal with a catastrophic event. You should have a breaching tool so that you can open a door, break a window, etc, etc, etc. So tier 1 is really moving more towards the Jason Bourne of combatives. Does that make sense? Alright, so that's what we're doing. So I'm going to give you a bunch of stuff that will help you with that. First of all, last thing I want to say. Fact is, bad people hurt good people. If you want to be able to deal with bad people, then you need to cultivate some bad. Quite a fucking lot, actually. Right? You have to know what they know. And basically, everything I'm giving you today that works and has proved itself to work comes from criminality. Comes from criminality. So if you want to deal with a violent predator, guess what? You've got to model a violent predator. The only thing that makes you different is your moral compass, your ethics, which hopefully you're still intact. I'm not going to fuck with anyone or hurt anyone. If I could run, get myself away, hide, de-escalate, whatever else, I'm not going to fight if I don't need to fight. But if you make me a cornered animal, I will steal your fucking face. For one primary reason, I must get back to me and mine. I'm too important to fucking lose. Too many people in my life need me, and I need them. I must prevail. So that's my motivation for being willing to use extreme violence. It's ethical, and within the context of the situation, the content that I train belongs. Now make that comparison to the criminal that we use violence simply because he can. Because he's an evil son of a bitch, because he needs his fix, because of whatever. Do you understand why we're doing this? Good. Right, okay, we're going to start then. So first off, we're going to start with some unarmed skills, right? So I need to make sure that you have a skill set and you have tools. Primarily within combatives, we use open-handed strikes, but we do use close fist strikes as well. We also use elbows and knees and the boot to stop. So we're going to start with seeing where you're at with some basic skills. We're going to move on to using a point and edge tool, also impactive weapons. Then I'm going to show you how to bind a prisoner, how to take somebody hostile and get them subdued and under control. And then we're going to start planting things into a more scenario simulation based design where we put the kit on and we have some fun. Everyone game? Yeah. Right, anyone got any injuries? Yeah. Right, yeah. Tell your partner if there's any restraints on what we're doing, don't do it. If you want to sit out and watch, there's a pussy tree over there.
Well, we won't be doing any kicks on the knee, will we?
Yeah, booting right through. No.
No kicks on the knee.
No, anything you can't do like so, just put your hand up, right? Right, so what I want you to do, I want you to get with a partner and I want you to get some pads.